Good morning from Sykeston, Missouri. We have a great crowd next to us. We're at Farm Credit Southeast Missouri. They were kind enough to bring this banner. We have a lot to talk about. I was up late watching the results of the caucus. There's the grains are still getting over this USDA report. We have a special that's coming out after work. There's some things happening. The dollar interest rates are going up a little bit. The stock market's not on this crazy rally like it used to be. Connor was excited about the Taiwan election. He's going to talk about that. We have a couple charts, a couple graphs. Let's digest it all. We need to start moving forward and quit looking back. Connor Bridgman, welcome to the show.
Hey, good morning, Tommy. Hopefully it's a little bit warmer than North Dakota where you're usually at.
Absolutely. Plus 10 instead of negative 10 there. And
there you go.
They are not used to the snow like this. Nashville, 10 inches of snow. Not a great time to go down there, but a great day to be talking markets and finance and educating people here in Missouri. You said you've been to Sykeston, Missouri.
Yes. Home of the throat, Lambert's, home of the throat rolls when I think of Sykeston.
And they're probably giggling in the other room over there. Great folks here. Let me do this. Let's go get in the show because after that, we gotta educate some people.
Yes, sir. Tommy, first news headline we got: U.S. dollar 1 month high. Treasury yields rose on belief the Fed will not cut interest rates as soon as March.
You know, it's interesting because we just got ahead of ourselves on those. When we came down to that 3.8 10-year at the end of the yield, we were just a little ahead of our skis, as they like to say. We had Empire. I seen producer Joe popped up Empire. We had some New York Empire manufacturing fell negative 43.7 January, the lowest reading since May of 2020. This goes back to people being upset about the economy. What's that saying when it comes to elections? It's about the economy. And people can get over faults, and trust me, both candidates have plenty of them. You want to talk about what happened in Iowa yesterday? Our very own Dave Lechtenberg and his wife went to a caucus, and it's a fascinating process.
Absolutely. First thing on the Empire Manufacturing Index, I don't follow this closely. It's almost like contrarian data, right? Like the economy's good, rates are lowing, but it's kind of like, hold up. We've got the lowest reading for New York manufacturing since 2020. Interesting to see. But yes, so Iowa caucus, our very own Dave Lechtenberg. We should have gave him a camera and a microphone there, Tommy. That would have been a good to see. But we saw Trump. I mean, it was a runaway, right? Trump. I don't remember the numbers, but he was by far and away the favorite candidate. What did you say? I think. Who was it?
He won every county but one, I believe. I think Nikki Haley won one county.
Haley won one.
I like during elections to flip the channels. You put on CNN, you put on Fox, you put on MSNBC. You don't stay there long and you move back to the others and you're trying to find the middle, right? That's not easy to do in America. But nonetheless, the facts are the facts are. Now, if we take it all the way back to 8 years ago, during this caucus, it was about a third. And matter of fact, the young man out of Texas, who we don't hear about anymore, but we were hearing names from 8 years ago we haven't heard in a long time, right. People who ran for president. One interesting tidbit was that how things looked 12 years ago at the Iowa caucus, 8 years ago. I'm not so sure people are in full support of Trump. They're against what's happening as they go around to the restaurants and they like to go live from the restaurants. They're extremely upset about the border. They're extremely concerned about the economy. They just had a school shooting in Iowa. That was a very, the principal died this weekend, I believe, or Friday. That was on people's hearts and minds. They're worried about what's going on in all over the world. And while that happens, we have a chart of what's happened at the grocery store lately. People just have less money to spend, and Iowa sets the stage for this election. Now, granted, they're going to start moving to other places. Oh, you have that right there. Price of a basket of groceries that cost $100 in December 2019, now $125. It stopped going up, Connor, but that money doesn't come back. Like Brady Huck said it really well last week on the show. Inflation's 3.4, 3.6. Well, it's still 3.4. It's not zero. It's not negative. I've seen when economies collapse and we go negative. What else do we have to talk about on the show?
Speaking of elections, we talked about it Friday. Taiwan had their election, and it's safe to say China did not get their guy, right? So we're going to see continued of that unrest. They sent warships near Taiwan. They're not happy. They don't think this guy, deserves to be in there. So we'll continue to see that. And here's an interesting chart on that situation, Tommy, I'm not quite sure what it means, if it's related to this political situation or if it's just coincidence, but Taiwan versus Hong Kong stock index, Taiwan index is higher for the first time in 30 years than the Hong Kong index. Is
Yeah,
that just
I get
because
it.
China's
Hong
lower,
Kong
or
markets are struggling. No, the Hong Kong markets, they would do an injection of cash during COVID, whatnot. But I think what's happening here is that China shut down for so long that they handicap their own economy. And I think you're seeing it in that blue aqua line going down, my friend. It's just tough right there. And what's that chart have to do with the farmer in Missouri or a farmer out watching the show? That's one of our problems. So when you look at these hot spots and these talking points, that chart just brings on what Americans are concerned about. Again, the biggest shocker last night was the unity for leadership. And we had a candidate drop out immediately. Endorsed former President Trump. Real quick, I got to tell you a story, Connor. I was at the hotel. I was in my PJs. You could just picture that. And the one
I
of
don't know if
the
I want
last
to, but
things President Trump said was, farmers of Iowa, go out and buy bigger tractors and more land. And I didn't go to bed for another hour after that. I tweeted it out, got some retweets, whatever. I mean, we know a lot of it's show and theater, but the real economy is healthy, yet we're all being buried in debt and border issues and other problems. I also thought last night before I went to bed, and this is a very serious thing, if I was someone who was a veteran or someone who was struggling in America and I was having a hard time getting housing, food, care, healthcare, I think they said over the course of this year, we could have 8 to 10 million people enter this country illegally. I will check on that, but with numbers that are
wow.
coming in like they are daily, that could be possible. Very serious issues. We need serious people, and the American voters are going to get out there and off to New Hampshire. Enough with politics, because we
Let's
have
jump
problems in the grain markets.
Let's jump in grains. First off, good news. We got a 4 million bushel corn delivery to Mexico for 23-24. Good to see at least some demand, but we're still feeling that hangover from that negative USDA report, Tommy. And looking at that, March corn is the lowest we've seen in 3 years. Right? We're positive this morning, up a little bit. I got March corn up 3 and March soybeans up 7, but still we're looking at lower prices. And so adding some quick color, right? The first thing, the shocker on the USDA report, we're not going to talk a whole lot about it because we are going to look forward. The numbers are out there. But we have a record yield in the United States, Tommy. 177.3 is where they came in for the final yield. Biggest US crop ever. Could you imagine if we were filming this in May or June of this year and I came out and said that? You would have laughed me
There,
off the
there,
show.
there would, yeah, you would. The hate mail would be long. So, who did the favor to the farmer? Did the person who made the farmer feel good do the favor to the farmer? Or did the person who actually went out, told the truth, lost clients doing it, and then actually helped a few people? I mean, it's a strange time, and it's going to take some strange people. Luckily, we got the 9 at 9 crew to walk through these problems every day. Today's news today. Speaking of today's news, this is old news. I told you, where did I tell you the yields were going to come from? The good folks of North Dakota, South Dakota, Kentucky, all these blue states. Look at me down in, well, Missouri was off a little bit this year, but Illinois off a little, Missouri off a little, Iowa off. Look at those blue states. We can grow a record crop without Iowa being 100%. If Iowa was 100%, it was all systems go, we would have a much greater carryout. Now, the question I throw back to you, what are we going to do with all this carryout? Because we do have it.
What are we going to do with all the carryout? Time will tell. Hopefully, right, we see this demand, right? If we have lower prices, hopefully we see demand tick back in, right? Hopefully we have that window open on corn, soybeans. I don't know. Brazil, South America is coming online, but that's what we need, Tommy. We need to see some demand come back. And when I look at this yield chart, you said it perfectly. Where the fringe states, how did we get to a record yield? The fringe states, the Dakotas, the Kentuckys, they had big crops. In our I states, our Illinois, Iowa, even Minnesota, right? They weren't as
Mhm,
bad as we thought, I think is the
mhm.
resounding thing. And so as we'll see. Ending stocks, as you can see, these past years, think the $6-7 corn, the market did what it was supposed to, and we're growing out of it, right? Sitting above, got a 2 in front of it on ending stocks. So other thing I have, I'll wrap through this. We're going a little long, and I know you got to get to it, but soybean yield was really good. Not a record like corn, 50.6, a little bit. They raised it slightly, and then ending stocks. It's always interesting to see how high we got during that embargo with China, right? Close to, I remember talking about 1 billion bushel carry out on soybeans. But where are we at right now? We're filling the pipeline, 280, right? We'll see if we get above 300 in the next year, but we're filling the pipeline, right? That's the color I have on the USDA report, Tommy.
Yeah, real quick before we go, we did a special. Luke, do you believe the yield increase, or do you think it's the USDA or just labeling bushels that had the birthday? Oh, that's Luke. That is so true. Many birthday bushels out there. That is funny because I do say that often. I'll walk right in that room next door and say it again. Luke, the basis has been reflecting that the bushels are out there. The basis doesn't lie. A couple of times that maybe the USDA was fibbing, the basis told you they're fibbing. The basis doesn't lie. That is a fact. Real quick before I leave, Connor, a couple housekeeping things. We
Yep.
went live at 10:55. I thought we did okay. We can do better. And some folks from work and clients said, hey, did you think about doing this, this, this? When these USDA reports, the 9 at 9 crew, we will go live at 10:55. We'll break it down fast. We'll go from 10:55 to 11:05. That replay's out there. But go back on the Advanced Trading YouTube channel. Watch Drew Moore, Michael Reginelli, Brian Bastien did a
Absolutely.
great 20-some minute recap. With that, I have some good news. Over the weekend, Producer Joe, we had some breaking news. 4,000 subscribers. You guys want on-demand content. You want live content. You're asking for more, and we are delivering that. Joe, if you have that thumbnail right there, thank you. From Tommy Grisafi, Connor Bridgman, Brady Huck, all of Advanced Trading in the ATI ProMedia crew. Thank you so much. Means a lot to us. We will keep doing this. I'm going to leave, go in that room, and tell them the truth. We're going to talk about facts, not feelings. With that, we'll go to our favorite Grisafi. Thank you, Connor.
Hey, have a good one.
Thanks for joining us. We're here every day, 9 a.m. Central. Don't forget to like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.